soul friends, to our Facebook knowings. I wanted to thank you all for the brilliant questions that you've sent to us. And though, of course, I can't answer all of them, I wanted you to know that I do see them all. And I'm sending you great love and the most radiant light.
This is a question from Navdeep Kandola, and he would like to ask you what your thoughts are about groups like the Illuminati or people who speak about world order. Is there such a movement of beings who are directing consciousness politically through the financial systems? Could you speak about that?
Hello, Nav. Of course I will speak about that. Yes, yes, and more yes. There have always been Illuminati. There have always been those who had within them that seed of power, that urge to control their own realities and the reality of our entire planet. And yes, there are groups of people who consciously maneuver the weather, maneuver the finances, maneuver the oil, the food on this planet, etc., etc. Yes, there are. And so we have to say what part of us participates in that, whether we are in violent opposition to those powers that be, or whether some unconscious parts of us wish that we were in control. We always think that if we were in control, we could make it perfect. And things like these groups start out with that. We're the ones that have more spiritual understanding. We have more access to how to maneuver things or control things. So we will do it because we know what's right. And then, of course, in the end, what is that expression? Power corrupts power. Yes, in the end, it turns out to be some other slithery snake that goes in a different direction. But that's not the important part of this conversation now. The important part is, how do we respond to that? First of all, of course, from my perspective, it would be fascinating to look into your incarnations of the soul and look at points of reference in incarnations and lifetimes in which you have been part of a group that said, we know what's right, and we will control you masses because you don't know what's good for you, and release that. You know, when we release a misuse of power, the energy is decrystallized and comes back and supports our capacity to be leaders, our capacity to guide and illuminate rather than control, the next octave up. And then the second part of that, again, is what can we do about it? Can you imagine that your consciousness could affect the consciousness of groups or individuals who seem impenetrable, impossible to convince that they're doing something that's negative? Your consciousness can influence them because there is a part, the Illuminati part of that, and then there is another aspect, and that other aspect is what is ceded to humans, free will, the capacity to choose for the higher good, the capacity to be the instrument of higher good. What's happened in the past is that when people have had qualities of manifestation or information or intuition that is above the collective consciousness, they've been burned at the stake, they've been destroyed. So there's a great deal of fear about using our intuitive energies. And yet, if you were to use the highest octave of your consciousness and extend it out, it would not only opportune some member of an Illuminati group to choose something different, or all of them, but it would influence you. It would feed your energy to be the highest of the highest, to open for that kind of evolutionary spiral, the purpose of our life, the evolution of the soul. And so as you extend that light through you, from the cosmos through you and out to any groups, your energy, the seeding in you, cosmic seeding, divine seeding in you, that has the wisdom, that has the goodness of heart, that has the recognition of evolution, not by force, not by manipulation, but by the freedom of the consciousness moving in that direction, upward spiral of evolution. You could be the instrument for that. I support that in you, Nav. I see that brilliance. I see that illumination in you. So let us all, you and I, and this world, let the darkness fall into its own. It's not that much. It's not that important. What's important is the power of light. Great love to you.
Chris, this is a question from Sophia. How do you know when you embark on a new activity that involves getting out of your comfort zone, when part of you is saying yes and the other part is saying no, this is too risky? For example, when getting into an area that you've avoided all your life, like business and finances.
Sophia, this is the time on the planet for risk. And if part of that voice is saying this is too risky, you can be sure that's the emotional body, the primordial body, that's saying let's keep the status quo. And so for sure you need to step out of that. You want to always listen to your gut, but you want to make sure that the gut is not the emotional squeezing, the fear level, but rather the higher octave of intuition. So your higher self is always going to push you into what is risky. And let me say that if the danger zone for you, the discomfort, is business and finance, then for sure I would support you in checking into that, because I think in today's world, it's when we have gathered to us that material energy, that abundance, that we can actually influence the way we wish we could. If we had oodles of money, we could protect the whales and the animals. We could help our neighbors. We could make sure that everyone had food. And so we need to use the visible and the invisible energies to manifest that which allows us to perform the purpose of our lives in relationship to our passion, to the things that we care about. Take the leap.
Chris, this is a question from Elisa Irina Lushnik. Dear Chris, deep inside of me, I do not feel the right for success. People who are close to me could be offended by it or misinterpret my willing for material success as materialistic and not spiritual. It hurts me when I feel the envy of friends. Still, I believe to be able to move more in life with material means and spiritual tools in combination. Can you give any advice? Thank you for your loving energy.
Elisa, it is painful to us when we leap ahead of our friends and our family, when we have more success, when we are able to manifest in the physical world as well as in the spiritual world. And you have said it so beautifully. We need both tools. We need them together so that together we can amplify what we're capable of in this lifetime. And we can extend it out. We can become the givers because the giver has the power. So what I would say about the envy is don't make yourself small in order to keep the friends that you've had. Some of them may fall away, and that's all right. You might have finished your karma with them. But always in your consciousness, hold them in your mind's eye and ask them what color they need and draw that color from the cosmos down through the top of your head and extend it out through your solar plexus to them. In that way, you're giving them a spiritual message that says, don't worry, it's all right. And then leap ahead and be successful and use the energies that can be melded into the physical world so that you can support everyone else. Because the purpose of life may be the evolution of the soul, but through physical experiences, how we learn love and compassion and caring for others. That includes how they are nourished, how they are fed, how they are loved, how they are taught. And these are the things that money and success can give you a position to wield and to utilize. Don't be afraid. Be as big as you can.